everybody, my name is Mars, you can call me MG if you would like, and this vlog was supposed to be dedicated solely to me drafting my cosmic horror novella, Always Drowning, Never Dying, but some things have changed. I recently received feedback on my project XCO, or I guess I can call it Exquisite Corpse now because I have done a title reveal for that, and I want to get going on edits for that because I have the feedback, so why not? And also, this past weekend, I've been really, obsessed almost with my project Winter's Prisoner. I've been doing so much brainstorming and character work with that. So we're gonna be doing 3 different projects in this vlog, and it is Monday the 5th today, and I figured from today until Friday the 9th, I am just going to dedicate myself to writing as much as possible in these 3 projects. So why don't I just give you a little more information about the projects themselves and talk about my tentative goals for the week. So I have made this little tracker of sorts for my projects, so we'll just go down the list. First up, I have Exquisite Corpse, which is a dark academia, was supposed to be a mystery, but it's definitely leaning more horror than I expected, but I have 3 drafts that I've done of this, and the 3rd draft I sent out to a couple of friends to read and got feedback from them, so I can now work on draft 4. So I've made 3 goals for each of these projects because I like to do like a tiered system. So my first goal, if I can get done, I will be extremely happy. The other ones are more like bonuses, but the first goal is just to compile all of the feedback into a little chart that I've made in a Google Doc, just so I know, like, this chapter, this person said this, but the other person said that, sort of thing. And then my second goal would be to edit 5 chapters, and my 3rd goal is to edit up to 10 chapters. There are, I believe, 26 chapters and an epilogue, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a little bit since I did the latest draft, so I'm not hoping to get the whole thing done this week, but if I can get through 10 chapters, absolutely fantastic. If I don't get that far, that's perfectly fine. That's why I made like tiered goals. If I just get the first one, that's still fantastic, but if I can get to the other goals, even better. The second project I'll be working on is Always Drowning, Never Dying. My original plan for this vlog was to draft this novella. I have index cards that I have not pulled out of my little index card holder, so I can't hold them up right now, but it's just 10 chapters, so very short, and this is a cosmic horror, kind of like Shadow over Innsmouth by H.P. Lovecraft, but not racist, as everything he writes, or I guess wrote because he's long dead. Extremely racist. Don't like those vibes, but I do like the cosmic horror vibe, so it's kind of like that. And my first goal is just to draft 3 chapters over the course of the week. Second goal is to draft 6 chapters, and the 3rd goal, if I can get, would be amazing, is to draft all 10 chapters. So we'll see how that goes. And then Winter's Prisoner is a story that I've had for a while, but for some reason these past few days I've just been really vibing with. And it is a high fantasy story about a human who gets caught up in the political affairs of the fair folk, and it's a trilogy. So I've done a lot of the base work, like the background and history and how we got to where we are when the series starts. I've done character stuff, I know who my main character is, and I know the first part of each book and the last part of each book, so I know what arc needs to happen, and now I just have to figure out how it happens. So my first goal is to brainstorm for book 1, Ice and Iron, then my second goal is to brainstorm book 2, which is Snow and Silver, and then my 3rd goal is to brainstorm book 3, which is Frost and Freedom. So lots on my plate. I have no idea how this is going to go, but we're just gonna do our best here, and I will keep you along with me to kind of hold myself accountable, honestly, is the point of this vlog, so I can give you guys updates, and hopefully the pressure of giving those updates is enough to get me to actually do a lot of the work. So I don't know what I'm going to start with just yet. I think I'm going to chat with some writerly friends and get their opinions, and then get going. So I will see you guys later on when I've done some sort of writing in one of my projects. Okay, according to my stopwatch that I use to track how long I write, I've been working for 1 hour and 12 minutes. I'm in the bedroom now because that's where I moved. Also, my working has not been consecutively. I've been watching Crystal's live stream and working during the sprints and chatting during the chatty bits, obviously. But I have successfully compiled all of the feedback from my beta readers into a chart, and it's color-coded and fun, and I love it. So I guess I've hit my first goal. There's definitely a lot more work than I was expecting going into this next draft. Of course, now that I'm filming, a million cars want to drive up my street. It's fine. But my biggest problems are, I think, chapters 14 through 19 were a bit of a slog for some of the, according to some of the feedback, so I gotta like tighten that up a bit and also implement more like, not foreshadowing, but like details about stuff that's going on, which I guess is kind of foreshadowing, but not really. Like I have to do that all throughout, and then the last chapter or the second to last chapter, one of those, there's like a paragraph where my readers were just like, what is going on here? So I have to fix that paragraph. But it's not like a ton of work. It's just a lot of little tiny things that have to be fixed throughout the whole thing just to kind of make it more cohesive and really clear things up, and also add to the horror elements, because this is a horror book, and I think that it does a good job of what I'm doing, because it's a quiet horror book, which is a sub-genre that really is like slow and creeping, and I feel like I really do hit that. I just need to, like I said, tighten things up a little bit to really keep the story streamlined and not dragging, because there's a difference between a slow story and a dragging story, and there are definitely parts where the story is dragging. So that is that, I guess. I'm gonna take a break now and watch some YouTube for a little while. There's a few videos that have gone up in my subscriptions feed that I need to check out, and then later on, I don't know if I'm going to draft or if I'm going to brainstorm. I guess we'll see which story I'm in the mood for, if I want some nice wintry fantasy or some creepy cosmic horror. So I will make that decision later, but for now I'm done with XCO. I'm not going to be working on that anymore today. I guess tomorrow I'll start on those edits, but that's a problem for me later. I guess I'm going to take a break now, so I will see you guys in a little bit. Hello friends, it is 8 p.m. and I have finished writing for the day, so I figured I would come back and let you know how this first day has gone. So I updated you after I did my compiling feedback, so if I bring my tracker over here, you see I've checked it off. So that's one thing. I didn't do any drafting today because I started to get a bit of a headache and I didn't want to look at a screen for too long. Thankfully, the headache has gone away. I've since chilled out. Eating definitely helped. I probably didn't have a good enough breakfast. But yeah, didn't do any drafting. That's fine. I will get to that tomorrow. As for Winter's Prisoner, I did brainstorm for Ice and Iron. I figured out the, like, A story and B story, as well as, like, other side character stuff and what their motivations all are and things like that. So I don't really have more plot figured out than I did this morning, maybe like a smidge, but most of it was just like overarching stuff. And I know more now what I want the story to be, even if I don't know the specific beats yet, if that makes sense. So tomorrow I will try and figure out more of that stuff. I actually did do a little bit of brainstorming for book 2, Snow and Silver, because there's stuff that I wasn't sure if I would want it in book 1 or book 2, and like the more I thought about it, the more I was like, okay, actually the stuff that I just came up with before would fit more with book 2 if I include this other stuff in book 1. I'm sorry I'm being vague, but I don't want to spoil too much of the story just yet. Maybe in the winter months I'll make more like videos about the series and talk about it then, but for now you just get gestures and vague words. But yeah, that took about an hour and a quarter as well. I did 2 different writing sessions, one before dinner and one after dinner. So in total I did about 2.5 hours of work today, which is fantastic. Tomorrow I'm going to be streaming. I have 5 hours and a little bit, but like the 5 hours is the important part of StreamYard hours left for the month. My StreamYard resets on the 10th, so I'm going to use up those 5 hours tomorrow and stream, and I'm going to make a wheel with my 3 projects on it, and before each sprint I will spin the wheel to see what I'm working on for that time. So I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun. I hope people show up. So yeah, I am going to get going and just vibe for the rest of the night, and tomorrow I will get back to work with my stories, so I will see you guys then. Good morning, friends. As you can see, I am here and ready to stream. I'm not going live for another 20 minutes, but I figured I'd get ready. So let me show you the setup. From my other monitor, I've got a wheel to decide how long each sprint is going to be, and then another wheel to decide which project I'm going to be working on for each sprint, and then I pulled up a different timer for each project. So when I'm working on Exquisite Corpse, we have the Spooky Woods timer because it's a book with some spooky woods. Then I have the Witch Magic timer pulled up for Always Drowning, Never Dying, not because there's witches in there, but because this is the only timer that Jess has that has water in it, and it's a watery horror, so it just kind of made sense to me. Yeah, all the timers that I'm using today are from the Hexed Hourglass, aka Jess, just because they are 60 minutes and they all have these little bookmarks down at the bottom, so it'd be easy to find the time that I spin on the wheel. And the last timer I have is the Fall Pumpkin timer, because there are no wintry timers. I thought that there was going to be one, but there was a period of time where Jess wasn't uploading, so there's no wintry timers for my Winter's Prisoner project, but I figured the fall timer is close enough, so that's what we're going with. I'm so excited to start working on my projects today, so I cannot wait to stream. If I seem a little out of it, it's because I have a raging migraine right now. I girl bossed a little too close to the sun today, and that stream kind of just wiped me out. So it's past 5 p.m. now. I did my stream from 10 to 3 like planned, and then downed some Tylenol, and I took a 2-hour nap, and then my boyfriend woke me up when he was done with work. And then I ate. I had some leftover steak and rice that I reheated, and now we're here. I am updating you because I did a lot of writing today and I should update you. So, over the course of my 5-hour stream, I did 5 sprints. 3 of them were 45s that were all dedicated to Winter's Prisoner. One of them should have been an hour, but I took the first 15 minutes of it to get a snack and refill my water. So 3 45s. I did another 45 that was for Always Drowning, Never Dying, so I got to start drafting that. And then I also had 130. The wheel gave me all the big ones, no 15s, but that was for Exquisite Corpse. So I did get to work on all 3 of my projects. For Exquisite Corpse, I edited just the first chapter. For Always Drowning, Never Dying, I wrote like 870 something words, I think, and it was the first scene of the first chapter. If I didn't have a migraine, I would definitely go back and continue working on that so that I could finish out the chapter, but it's not happening. Then for Winter's Prisoner, all that time, I think I've done enough to cross off my, or check off Brainstorm, Ice and Iron, because I figured out pretty much the whole book, not like the details of it, but that's going to come in outlining. But for this brainstorming anyway, this phase, I've figured out like the major beats and like when things move and characters stuff, like motivations and all that fun stuff. I finished up this notebook, so it's completely full now. You can see that's all words as the back cover. So I get to start a new one. And I've picked out this one from my stash of empty notebooks. It says notes and plans on it, so it's pretty accurate for the job. I wish I had another spiral bound notebook, but I don't. The other ones I have are all hardcover, and I don't really like that about them. Ooh, excuse me. And also one of them doesn't have any lines at all, just blank pages, and I don't know what I'm going to do about that because I don't really like that. But this one is soft cover, which feels a little bit better for me. I don't know, I just don't prefer the hardcover for things like this. And then we've got these really narrow lines, so I'm going to be filling this up with so many ideas because I'm going to be able to fit so much more on a page. I think this was a gift from my friend for Christmas. I think I have several notebooks that I've gotten as gifts over the years. I think this is the one that I got this past Christmas from my friend AJ. Yeah, I guess when I get back to brainstorming Ice and Iron, it'll be in this notebook, or I guess I'll have moved on to Snow and Silver. Who knows? I might go back and do more in Ice and Iron if I figure anything out, but for now, I am gonna go lay back down because, like I said, my head still hurts, and I think laying down is going to be the best thing for me right now. A nice dark room. I'm gonna turn the AC back on so I'm nice and cool. Yeah, did great work today, but maybe a little bit too much work at the expense of my health. Hopefully tomorrow I will be back up and running and ready to get going again, so I will see you then. Grammy, you're here to help me edit my book, right? You're certainly not here to be a distraction while I'm trying to get work done. That would be so rude. You're definitely here to help. Hello friends, it is currently 5:45 p.m. on Wednesday. Of course, as soon as I start filming, a car is going by, but we're gonna keep going. I will admit that this morning I had quite the late start. I slept in and then I didn't really do much this morning because I was still dealing with the lingering migraine from yesterday. That stream definitely took more out of me than I thought it would. But this evening, I did get a little bit of work done. I spent the last hour doing edits on Exquisite Corpse, and I actually edited 9 chapters in an hour. So I've hit my goal of 10 chapters. That was the 3rd goal, because my 2nd tier goal was to edit the first 5 chapters, and then my 3rd tier goal was to edit up to chapter 10. I don't have my little sheet with me, I left that in the office, but I've hit that goal, so I guess I can check that off. Pretty fun that I've hit that already. I guess I should have set my sights a little bit higher. I am going to take a break now because an hour of work straight is tiring and I'm still not feeling 100%, so I need to chill out for a bit. But my plan is hopefully to come back to writing later on today, and of course there are more cars going past. If I do come back to writing later on today though, I am going to work on what is it called? Always Drowning, Never Dying, right? Yes, that's the name of my story. I know this, because I haven't hit the first goal for that one yet, but I've hit the first goal for Winter's Prisoner. I've hit all 3 goals for Exquisite Corpse, so I'm going to try and focus on that. So that'll be fun. I'm very much looking forward to getting back to drafting. Hello friends, you can tell from the sound of the fan going and also the horrible lighting that it is late at night. It is just about 8:30-ish, and I've finished writing for the day. I'm calling it here. I spent just about an hour drafting Always Drowning, Never Dying. I did finish chapter 1. I didn't think it would take me an hour, but I did write almost 2,000 words, which is crazy because I didn't expect to be able to write that fast. Granted, that was kind of my par for drafting the last thing I wrote, which was in July last month. I wrote my Lesbian Cowboys story, and throughout the course of that I averaged 2,000 words an hour, but yesterday when I wrote, I got about 800 words in 45 minutes, so I was like, oh, this one's going to be a bit slower paced. That's fine, that's still really great progress. But then today I sat down and I'm like, I'm going to finish chapter 1, and I did, and it was almost 2,000 more words, and it only took me an hour, so I don't know, man. Today was just a good day for drafting, I guess. But chapter 1 is 2,775 words total, and it's really fun. I really like it. So now I'm 1/10 of the way through my chapters. I don't get to check anything off of my thing yet. Actually, I can grab it from over here. I don't get to check anything off of the section for it because my first goal was to draft 3 chapters, but maybe I will make it a goal for tomorrow that I draft 2 and 3, just so I can check that off. I think that would be a good goal. And then I don't know what else I'm going to try and do tomorrow. Maybe more brainstorming, because I didn't do any of that today. And I would like to work more on Exquisite Corpse, even though I didn't make any goals beyond this. It would just be extra credit, we can call it. But yeah, despite having kind of a low health day, I've still made pretty good progress. I wrote for 2 hours, 1 hour of editing a project, 1 hour of drafting a project, so that's nothing to sneeze at. I am going to do my nightly routine now and then settle into bed with a book for quite a while and get back to doing things tomorrow. Friends, I have a bit of a late update for you. It is just past 6 p.m. already on Thursday, and I have done some writing today. Not as much as I should have, but I've been doing some other stuff, so it's fine. I'm not mad about what I've gotten done today, and there's still time for more writing. It has been raining on and off all day, which has been so lovely. I love the rain. And it's been perfect weather for Always Drowning, Never Dying. Just really setting the mood. It was great. So I've been drafting that. I have drafted chapters 2 and 3. So I've hit my first goal. Again, I don't have my thing with me here. Good job. I'm so prepared. So I can't show you the checked off item. But I have completed my first goal, which means I've completed the first goal for all 3 projects, which is so exciting. Yeah, 3 chapters drafted, and it's just under 6,000 words. I'm thinking now that I kind of want to split chapter 1 into 2 different chapters, because there is kind of a very clear breaking point. For now, I've put a couple of asterisks as like a scene break, but in edits, I will probably split it up into 2 separate chapters. It is quite long compared to the other 2 chapters. It is just under 3,000 words on its own, and then chapter 2 is like 1,900 words, I think, and then chapter 3 is just over 1,000. So it would definitely help balance out chapter lengths a little bit more if I split chapter 1. So that's something I'm going to keep in the back of my mind for when I do edit this. But first I have to finish the draft. So I don't know if I will be continuing to do some writing for this draft, or if I'm going to switch to another project, either brainstorming for Winter's Prisoner or editing XCO, but one of the 2 is probably going to happen later on today. For now, I'm going to chill. I'm going to do some reading, but some late night writing seems to be in the cards, although not too late, because it is still a weekday. My boyfriend has work in the morning, and so we have to go to bed at a reasonable time. But I will see you later. Hopefully, I'll have actually fulfilled this promise of doing more writing later today, but only time will tell. Alright friends, it is now 9 p.m. and since I spoke to you, I did half an hour more of writing, so not a lot, but it all adds up anyway. And I did continue to work on Always Drowning, Never Dying. Because of the rain, it fits so well. I mean, the weather is also very appropriate for Exquisite Corpse, but I wanted to continue with this. So I started chapter 4 and I got the first little bit of it done. I think I wrote like 700 words, something along those lines. And I'm really enjoying how this is starting out. It's kind of a slow start with like slipping the eeriness and the creepiness in before we get to the real horror later on in the novella. So that's fun. I'm having a good time. I don't know what my plans are for tomorrow yet. The last day of this big rush to try and get a lot of work done. Honestly, I haven't been doing as much work as I'd hoped to this week, but I am still doing quite a bit more. I've been time tracking my writing this summer and I've been averaging about an hour, hour and a half each day. And during this week, I've definitely surpassed that all 4 days so far. So that's fantastic. I do have some things on the docket. I've got a Zoom meeting for something in the morning, and then I have another meeting in the afternoon / evening for some writerly things, and that's gonna take up some time. I don't know how long either of those are going to be specifically, but that's kind of like bookending my day. Between that though, I should have plenty of time to get a bunch of writing done. Probably gonna go more into Always Drowning, Never Dying, especially if the weather is like it was today. But I really don't know until I get to work tomorrow, so I am going to get ready for bed and settle in to do some reading for the next hour or so, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Hello friends, it is currently just before 4 p.m. on Friday, and I'm cutting this vlog just a little bit short. I am not having a great health day. I don't think this is related to my stream on Tuesday, which did in fact give me a migraine for the rest of that day and a little bit the next morning. I think this is just like a regular old migraine that's just happening, which I do get sometimes, unfortunately. So I think that's where we're at. I woke up this morning in agony, had to run out to Rite Aid to get some pain meds, and all that they had was children's acetaminophen. So that's what I took, and it worked a little bit, but not great, even though I upped the dose a little bit to compensate for me being slightly larger than a child. Yeah, I was so hoping to get a lot more writing done to kind of end this off really strong, but I did not. I did manage to get an hour of drafting on Always Drowning, Never Dying, so I finished out chapter 4. Sort of in my outline, I had them arriving at this place quite later than they do in the actual draft, so I sort of have to figure out what's happening during the rest of that evening, but I think it's fine to leave that for draft 2, and I can just continue on with my plans for the rest of the time that they're at this place and what happens for my characters. So I'm gonna do that at some point. If I feel like making those charts and putting them up while I edit, you will see some graphs, probably only 1 or 2, but I figured we'd talk about stats for the week. All in all, over the past 5 days, I wrote for 11 hours, which is great. It's way higher than my average has been. Like I said, I've been time tracking, and my average was like somewhere around hour and a half a day at best up until this point, and this week I've averaged more than 2 hours a day, which is fantastic. I love that for myself. I worked for 2 hours and 45 minutes on Exquisite Corpse and managed to compile all of my beta feedback and edit the first 10 chapters. On Always Drowning, Never Dying, I worked for 3 hours and 45 minutes, and during that time I drafted the first 4 chapters of it. And then for Winter's Prisoner, I worked for 4 hours and 30 minutes total, so the biggest chunk of time this week, and I did a lot of character work and like setting, world building stuff, and also figured out the main plot line of the first book in the series. I figured out all of the main beats and everything, so I think that's amazing progress for 1 week. I am now going to rest. I'm so tired, you guys. I really just need to take some time off. So this weekend I will be refilling the creative well, and I was gonna vlog it, but I think I'm just gonna film some B-roll and call that good enough. I have done that a couple of times before where I was going to do a whole vlog, but I decided to just do a B-roll vlog. So like, I think it's fine. But I might write this weekend, but I'm not going to push myself to write. If I get like this really strong sudden urge to write, then of course I'm going to give in to that. But for the most part, I will be doing other things like reading. I've got to go grocery shopping, and there's a very nice park by the grocery store, so I might go for a walk there, and if not, just a walk about town. I've got a new Critical Role episode that I want to watch. I'll maybe put on a movie at some point. Just all of the fun, relaxing things that make me feel inspired to create, so that next week, after my little break, I can get back into writing and just have a great time with it. So that has been this vlog. I thank you all for coming along with me. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye everyone.